The Wagner Brigade, like the EDL, seems to have a second lease of life following the assassination of its founder and the chief Wagner personality, Prigozhin. It has an international influence in Venezuela and now on the streets of Britain. There's the case of Joachim Barrington Rose and Ugnius Asmena, who have been accused of aggravated arson related to an attack on a Ukrainian-linked business in London. And they're among the first individuals charged under the UK's new National Security Act of 2023, allegedly orchestrated by a person called Dylan Earle in connection with the Wagner Group, a prescribed terrorist organisation. Now, the attack involved setting fire to industrial units owned by Odyssey and Meast UK. The case underscores a growing concern about foreign influence and espionage activities on British soil, and it's not the first instance. I mean, you can go back to Salisbury. And Commander Dominic Murphy of the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command emphasised the seriousness of these charges and reassured the public there is no wider threat, urging respect for the ongoing criminal justice process. But what about the RT allegations about the identity of the stabber in Southport? The Wagner Group was founded by Yevgeny Prigozhin in 2014, and it became a notorious entity operating beyond Russian borders, in Ukraine particularly. Initially composed of elite Russian military personnel, the group expanded significantly by recruiting prisoners with promises of pardon. At its peak, it boasted around 25,000 fighters, and it was in Ukraine well before the war was announced, certainly following the annexation of Crimea, probably before that time, and fomenting discord. So stimulating all that Azov stuff, and then accusing the Azov Brigade of exactly the atrocities it was committing itself. They played a crucial role in the Battle of Bakhmut, and they've been active in Syria, Mali, the Central African Republic, Sudan, Libya, and now Venezuela. Their influence isn't limited just to the battlefield. It extends to political and economic spheres, often destabilizing regions, undermining local governance, funding and exercising troll farms, or in Russia they call them troll factories. And these are individuals who often assume multiple names. You'll see some of them in the comment section under here. And every so often I think, should I ban these people? Should I stop these people? I'm not fully aware about the mechanism of banning people. You can't just simply block them. You can't just simply hide them from the channel because they keep turning up. There's a person who leaves very early messages on a lot of my videos, who has a what's it called? A picture, an identity picture of a bottom, and I find that quite disturbing, and I keep trying to hide her or him, and yet this doesn't work. So I do try, but I don't think I understand exactly how to do it. And so the various people who say you've removed my post, they don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how to remove these posts, really. I just don't know how to do it. But if I could, I would certainly start with the Russian trolls. And amid these tensions, both Russia and Belarus have issued dire warnings of an impending apocalypse, a narrative that seems designed to sow fear and justify aggressive policies. They talk about a crisis. Of course, what they need to do is go back to the original Greek and find out what the word crisis means. A crisis means a decision, a choice. Not a mess, a choice. There's another word for a mess. It's called chaos. A crisis. The crisis is the point of decision. the kairos, the time. And we are at a point where we need to make decisions. Who do we trust? Who do we not trust? Who do we turn to for support? And I don't think we should be turning to the Russians. I don't think we should be turning to the Prigozhin people and these people who are sowing discord, who are sowing fake news. And the rhetoric that they use aligns with the broader strategy of misinformation, psychological operations to destabilize their adversaries. The UK's response to these threats has been robust, but not robust enough, I think. The National Security Act of 2023 provides new tools to combat espionage, sabotage, foreign interference, and the security minister from the last government, Tom Tugendhat, was very keen on this act's importance, noting that recent changes demonstrate its effectiveness in protecting the nation from hostile foreign activities. Not enough, but it's a start. So the charges against Rose, Asmina, and their co-defendants are not just legal proceedings, they're a stark reminder of the complex and evolving nature of global threat. As Russia continues to exert influence through both conventional and unconventional means, it is imperative for the UK and its allies to remain vigilant and to be talking to one another. The international community must work together to counter these threats, to uphold the rule of law and the principle of honesty. As this case progresses, I think it's important to watch closely and ensure that justice is served, while also learning the lessons to strengthen our defence against future threats, because it's not just the law that is doing this job, it's us. We should be on our guard about the threats in social media. We should not be deceived by this rubbish. There are broader geopolitical tensions, and the Wagner Group's activities are a microcosm of Russia's hybrid warfare tactics, blending conventional military actions with covert operations and disinformation. And disinformation is something which goes all the way back to Stalin. The UK's legal and security frameworks, as exemplified by the National Security Act in 2023, are critical in addressing these multifaceted threats, but it is just the first step. We need more. And the involvement of young individuals in these alleged acts of espionage and terrorism also highlights this worrying trend of radicalization and recruitment by foreign entities who sound convincing, who present a single answer to complexity. There is no single answer. The need we have now for a comprehensive counter-terrorism strategy must be complemented by better education, community engagement, preventative measures. So we can monitor these developments, but at the same time we must maintain a balance between security and civil liberty and encouraging greater communication, greater debate, greater discussion. Because these threats compromise our values and our freedom, exactly the things that our government says it wants to protect, and we must ensure that our government protects our freedoms rather than restricts our freedoms.